One of the most memorable moments on 7:30 this year was Paul Lockyer's coverage of the Queensland floods in the town of Grantham. Take a look.
There was a real sense of foreboding as we landed in the middle of town, and the scale of the destruction became even more evident. This is replicated all up and down this street, all across this small town. This, what was a beautiful small rural town at the bottom of the slopes coming down from Toowoomba. Finally, one survivor appeared, Kel Wood. So, Kel, what are you most worried about?
Well, we were worried about this house beside the hotel, where we were at the height of it, and we just watched it implode, and just an explosion of insulation and everything. Just the velocity of the water was incredible. Just took it so quickly, and we think there was 2 people in there, maybe 3, but nobody knows. No one's sure.
What happened here yesterday?
Armageddon. It's the closest word I can come to it. I've never seen anything like it. I never want to see anything like it again.
Kel Wood, the man in that story, made time to speak to 7:30 earlier about the difference the ABC crew made to the people of Grantham.
Yes, it was very strange. I didn't even hear the helicopter land. It was only a few metres from me, and I saw Gary, and he said to me, "Sit down, mate," and he made me sit down on the skid of the chopper. I was in a bit of shock at the time.
And then what happened?
Paul walked over and introduced himself, and the cameraman, and we had a bit of a walk through part of the town, and I showed him where I'd been during the event and some of the devastation that it ensured.
And how would you describe the way that Paul Lockyer and the crew dealt with you in that situation?
Paul and indeed all the crew, they were exemplary. They treated us with compassion, and they just weren't there about the story. They stayed and they helped us. They hung around for days and stayed with us and were generally caring of our community.
What sort of things did they do?
Oh, they helped cook. They talked to people. They just were part of the whole effort. I was in a bit of a state of shock, I suppose, so not being totally aware of what they did.
How important was the work of that team in getting the experiences of the people of Grantham out to a broader Australian audience?
We've found it incredibly important in the way that we received an inordinate amount of financial and volunteer help, and without Paul and his reporting, getting it out to the broader community, that wouldn't have happened.
After the original disaster coverage, you then agreed to participate in an ABC documentary, and then a couple of weeks ago in a 7:30 story about the 6-month anniversary of the floods. Given how time-consuming and intrusive TV can be, what was it that made you do that?
The whole process sort of was daunting to me, but the team's compassion and just their attitude, I found them very easy to talk to, and they weren't intrusive, they weren't confronting, they were just genuinely good people to work with, and I had a trust for them that you knew that what you said was going to be put across in the way that you meant it.
John Bean, the cameraman, wasn't on the original assignment, but you met him on the later ones. What was your impression of him?
As with all the crew, they were incredibly good and incredibly compassionate and aware of what we'd been through. They weren't just there about doing their job. They had an empathy with us.
Kel Wood, thank you for making time to speak to us.
Thank you, Lee.